Nobody's gonna say this, but a lot of people today disguise irresponsibility as growth. They abandon commitments, walk away from people, and call it evolving. But is it really? His name is Marshall. He is a psychologist, executive coach, leadership trainer, Stanford graduate. You spoke a little bit about trauma, early experiences, particularly scary ones, guide people in the choices they make in life, even influencing their career choice.
What we do with our minds makes a huge difference. And we can make ourselves feel terrible. When that fracture happens, it structures the rest of our lives, or a lot of our lives. So it could be that somehow I feel I'm unlovable. Something happened and I feel unlovable. And now that desire to compensate for it is so strong that I might become a social worker or a psychiatrist or someone whose profession is around being loving, that I can somehow compensate for this secret belief I have inside that I'm unlovable. The unresolved trauma that we carry, it radiates through us in all departments. It's like a fractal. It's what's happening in one part of who we are happens in all parts of who we are. So it will affect our leadership, our relationships, it'll affect everything. In terms of relationships, I think we tend to gravitate towards something that's familiar. Sometimes we go for the exotic, and that becomes erotic, and sometimes we go for, birds of a feather flock together. And the reason for that is familiar feels comfortable. Even if it's a bad familiar, we want to be accepted for who we are. And if the world had told me when I was growing up that I was some bad, lousy kid who was no good for anything except throwing whiskey bottles at, then I will find someone who sees me for who I really think I am now. And that will mean someone who devalues me and treats me badly, because that feels like I am being acknowledged for who I really am. So we are attracted to people who help us feel seen, even if what they see is horrendous.
I mean, to the audience watching, he has two professions. Number one, he's a coach, and he's also a psychotherapist. And in today's discussion, we're going to split it into two. We're going to talk about psychotherapists, you as a psychotherapist first, and then we're going to talk about you as a coach. I'm going to start the episode with this, okay? Change my mind because I have an opinion about therapy. Okay? I personally don't believe in therapy. I believe that everyone knows what's wrong with them. And I believe that everyone just don't have real friends. You already know this information about yourself. Like, okay, I am this, I am that, I'm this, I am that. And people just don't want to fix it. So I feel like therapy will not help them, will not help these people, because they just don't want to accept that they are broken.
I wish I agreed with you.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't.
Change my mind then. Come.
Sorry, do you?
I think, for example, of one of my closest friends right now, she has an enormous pool of friends. She's one of these gregarious, generous types. She organizes holidays for groups of people. She could make a couple of phone calls and 20 people will arrive who is experiencing profound depression right now. And the only reason she's told me that she isn't going through with plans to kill herself is because she has a child. And her father committed suicide. Other people in her extended family have committed suicide. And I don't think any amount of friendship is going to do more than help a bit. Like friendship, well, no, let me take that. Friendship is absolutely essential. It's important. It makes an enormous difference in people's mental health, but you often need more. Like in her case, I think psychiatric medication is useful, and psychotherapy, that these things help people when they're in dark spaces. And that's what it was designed for, was to help people in the hard times, when they're experiencing pathology, sickness of the mind. But I also think that the same tools can be used to help people experience more well-being, more freedom, more creativity. So it started to help people at the dark end of the swimming pool, but it's gone all the way to the shallow end, the bright end, the happy end. And so I think more and more, like, these techniques can be helpful to improve your performance, be it I'm a goalkeeper for my state in the United States, and now I want to become on the national team, or I want to somehow get more juice out of my mind. So I think psychology, and including psychotherapy, has a lot of value. But it can be overused, and with portrayals like sometimes from Hollywood, it seems like a waste of time.
I think also, I feel like if you have a healthy circle of friends, who you can actually talk to, you might need therapy less. But also, I don't think it's responsible to dump everything on your friends. And
No,
your
that's
friends
true.
might also not be in the stage. Like, what if your friends going through their own stuff? And as much as, like, I want to be there for you, what if I'm going through a divorce as your friend, right? Like, even if I want to, and I will still do it, it might not be the best thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, so the best thing might be to see like a professional where they're paid to have you trauma dump instead, you know?
Like, call me an asshole, right? But I am that guy who don't believe depression is real. Yeah, I really don't believe depression is real.
At all?
People are gonna say that I'm very. I listen to Andrew Tate so much, right? Because he is another one.
my
You don't know who Andrew Tate
No,
is?
I don't.
Bald guy,
Yeah.
full of
It's
tattoos.
okay, you don't need to know.
Okay.
No.
He's a very, very, very famous social media personality.
Okay.
Very rich
Yeah.
man.
I think he's actually, at least 6 months ago, was like the #1 most viewed or listened to podcast in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has influence.
And he's known
Very
for
big
like
influence.
pretty
doesn't
misogynistic
believe that-
views.
He believes no, depression doesn't exist.
It exists, but so he's saying that you allow yourself to go into depression.
Okay.
Yeah, and I this is me before I listen to his take on depression.
Sure.
Okay, because and I might come from a place of privilege. I know
Yeah.
people are gonna come at me, and maybe I really am coming from a place of privilege because I have a roof over my head.
Yes.
I don't live through poverty.
Yeah.
I live in Singapore.
Yeah.
Right? I can drink water from the tap. How bad can it be? But I have had moments where I feel very sad
Yeah.
and I don't have the answers,
Yes.
but I just decide to pull myself out of it.
Yes.
Look, when people are sad, I believe they will make themselves sadder by firstly going through old photos of
Yeah.
seeing what they were
Okay.
before they were in this stage.
Yes.
They go through a Spotify playlist with lyrics reminding them that they are sad.
Yes.
Right? That is kind of allowing yourself to enter a mode where you drown. You're like, oh my God, I'm really very sad.
You're
So you're
making it
indulging.
worse.
Yes, you're
Snowballing.
indulging in your sadness, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a very famous rapper called 50 Cent also said this.
Yeah.
He also believes depression isn't real. And because he said he came from the hood.
Yeah.
And if anyone should have depression, it should be him. But he was just too busy trying to get out of poverty.
Yeah.
Right? He's just too busy to get out of, to make money.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no time to be depressed. So I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. So if I am feeling sad, I call Janice. I'm like, Janice, let's go make money.
Yeah.
How do we make money? I keep myself distracted with things so that I don't dive. I don't go head into my depression. What do you think of that?
As someone who has a PhD
Yeah.
in this topic,
As a doctor,
the legit view.
yeah.
At the risk of being condescending, I think it's charming.
He's like, that's cute, but no.
Thank you.
That's cute, but no.
I mean, I think you make a great point that what we do with our minds makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And we can make ourselves feel terrible.
Yeah.
And many poets are famous for, and perhaps the rapper as well, of like getting themselves into a distressed state of mind because often they're more creative in that state of mind. So
Yeah.
there can be a
That
payoff.
is so true.
Yeah. Think of this.
Some of the most broken, depressed, crazy people produce
Yeah.
the best works of our time.
Yes.
And then after that, they die.
I mean,
Like Van Gogh, for example.
like Van Gogh. I mean, like so many great artists were in some ways
Yeah.
tortured. So, and I think many of them indulged in it because they wanted to get to that place of creativity. But there are people who I think indulge and don't really want the horror of that darkness. And so part of their mind is saying, oh, let's indulge in looking at photos of my ex-girlfriend who broke up with me and how sad I am. And another part is going, no, I want to feel better. And they don't know how. And so having friends or a therapist who goes, look, this is how many people have done it successfully. Let me help you is I think a great thing. And then some people, for example, people who've experienced trauma, it is just beyond them. It is too much. It is just horrific. So I think, for example, of a lady I know who her father started to rape her around age 11, but she was used by other members of the family at an earlier age she has experienced so much trauma that it's very hard for her to maintain a stable sense of well-being. She carries this in when she goes to sleep at night, in the nightmares, in times when she isn't frenetically busy, that these thoughts come in. And she used to medicate it with alcohol, with sex, with different kinds of activities that could get her killed by the age of 20. Somehow she made it through. And someone like that is dealing with so many terrible things in their mind that helping them manage it is a great privilege and an important thing. And I think the therapist in some ways can be the only friend who knows that darkness. Because if I'm so afraid to tell anyone that I'm one of those people who, has a father who did that kind of thing, I won't tell my friends. I might tell a paid person who I can fire. But hopefully that paid person has the skills to show, hey, these are ways people have gotten through this terrible path. So I agree that we have a lot of power in our minds. And if your mind is healthy enough, great. You may not need a therapist. And if you've got friends, that makes a huge difference, that you are already psychologically more healthy. But often that ain't enough. You can do even better with the help of someone who knows this path.
I guess no shade, but I guess if someone can say trauma doesn't exist or depression doesn't exist, it really is from a position of privilege, because that just means that that person is coming from a place where they haven't been broken down to the point where they literally cannot do anything, And I think so. I think depression is real, but some people
Abuse
who
it.
a lot of shit really, really happened to them, right? They use that fire inside of them and they don't know the tools, right? They don't know the tools to manage this, but there's just a fire. I don't know if it's a personality thing. They can be raped, they can go through a car accident, but there's a fire inside of them that they just brute force their way through. And that fire makes them productive. That fire helps them build a business, all these things. But there are some other people where the same things happen, but they can't find that fire, right? And so I think that's where maybe therapy comes in, to give you the tools, because you can't brute force your way through. So you use these tools to slowly climb your way up. Yeah.
I'm not dismissing your profession though.
Oh, please feel free. I don't mind at all.
No, I'm not dismissing it at all. But I guess that's just my opinion on things. Because one of the other things is what I hate is that in today's generation, people use therapy or people abuse therapy, right? For their wrong behaviors. They do something wrong and then they say, I'm so sorry, I'm actually going through therapy about this. Then shouldn't you be better, right? That's why I said people know. You just, sometimes maybe you forget. And sometimes when emotions take over you can't control it and you become the same that you were, even though you're in therapy or not. But you knew you were, right? But you just didn't want to stop it. So and that's one of the other reasons why I'm like, therapy is I've seen people go through therapy. They come out the same. And I'm like, either your therapy suck or you really don't want to change.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people who I'm bad at this because I have ADHD, and they'll blame everything on some label. And I think that's a real misuse. I think the labels can be quite helpful as a way of understanding and communicating. But when people start making excuses for themselves, I think
I don't know if you've seen this, but online now, there's this trend of kids who think that mental issues are cool. Everyone's neurodiverse. Everyone's depressed. Everyone has social anxiety. So I'm not saying that those things don't exist, but I'm to your point, people just use it and then use it as an excuse for their behavior, basically.
Yeah. But you spoke a little bit about traumas just now. I want to touch a bit on that actually.
Go for it.
I want to touch a lot about that. So before this episode, we actually texted a little bit and you mentioned that early experiences, particularly scary ones, guide people in the choices they make in life, even influencing their career choice. So to say that traumas actually have a big influence in how we live our life. Can you give an example of that?
Yes. If I can just explain how I think about it. I think of it as we are sort of unfractured or relatively unfractured, as if waiting for a fracture to occur. Psychologically, we are waiting for the first stone to smash the glass to form its pattern. And it may be a small pebble, it could be a giant brick, but somehow when that fracture happens, it structures the rest of our lives or a lot of our life. So it could be that somehow I feel I'm unlovable. Something happened and I feel unlovable. And now that desire to compensate for it is so strong that I might become a social worker or a psychiatrist or someone whose profession is around being loving, that I can somehow compensate for this secret belief I have inside that I'm unlovable. I think of, I used to do some work with professional fighters, so MMA fighters, boxers, that kind of group. And I just was like blown away when one of the fighters I was working with told me, his core belief, like behind all of the stuff, deep down inside was, I am physically weak and pathetic. And how do you get a guy who trains 6 hours a day in, day out, who is a lethal human, like this is a lethal human weapon, and who has many title belts, who believes he's physically weak and pathetic. It is because he believes he's physically weak and pathetic that he goes to such incredible lengths to somehow try and prove it to himself or the world that he's okay. So yeah, be it politicians, I haven't worked with many, but I've noticed that many of them believe that they are marginal. So I'm not important, and there they are, center stage. Comedians, I think, are probably similar. Lawyers, it's often that I'm inadequate.
Yeah.
Because, to be a lawyer, you have to go through so much schooling. You must you have to keep on going and pushing, and you end up in a law firm and they keep burning you out. Like, what is it that drives you? And often I found it's, yes, this sense that I am inadequate. And so they're trying to overcompensate, or they're trying to compensate.
Even models, like a lot of models that I know have this belief that they're very ugly, unattractive, and weird and awkward.
Yeah.
But then people look to them like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like you must be so confident, right? And that's really not true for a lot of the model friends I have as well.
It's like I'm insecure and I'm modeling in order to feel better.
Which is quite crazy.
Yeah. It's a leaky bucket that never gets filled for very long.
It's like what women say about men with very expensive cars. They are compensating for...
And maybe...
Yeah,
maybe. I think I have some evidence for that.
That makes sense. So, like, I'm thinking about why I'm doing this in life.
Yes.
Were you shy as a kid? Like as a kid, like 5 years old.
But I kind of relate with the MMA fighter where there are times where I just really think that I'm just weak. Mentally and both physically, and it has been proven, right? Because I don't have papers, like I don't have a degree or anything, so I am actually, by Singapore standards, mentally weak. Or like no, based on education, I am weak, right? Okay. So and in again, based on Singapore standards, right? However, though, when I was younger, where I did watch a lot of TV, and I was very interested in music, and the arts, and I always thought like, maybe one day I can be
a star,
celebrated as much as these people.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know celebrated for what exactly.
Yes.
Just that, maybe one day I'm going to be a rock star.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying is I couldn't go this way, the paper route. So I found another route which appealed to me. Intrinsically was maybe more interesting.
Yeah.
But when you go, okay, I'll get acknowledgement there, and now you probably have a huge following. I don't know.
Probably, and maybe, what you just said also makes sense to me, right? Because I don't have any degrees. So starting a talk show makes sense so that I can actually flaunt my intelligence, even though it's not much, right?
Yes.
I can sound intelligent if I want to.
Yes.
Even if it's not backed by papers. Oh my God, you just told me my traumas.
And so now you have a bigger, faster red car. Yeah. This is your red car right here.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Janice.
Wait, I'm trying to think.
I feel so small.
Yeah, I think it's
You changed my mind. You really changed my mind about therapy now.
Wait, but what we just said, right, about scary experiences or bad experiences shaping career choices, is this something that's backed by scientific studies, or it's just something that you found while seeing clients over the years?
It's something I found and then realized has been a theory for over 100 years. This guy, Alfred Adler, came up
Mm-hmm.
with the idea of inferiority complexes.
Yeah.
And what I'm suggesting is that we are actually evolved to have these. The human species benefits from the fact that we all carry some horrible belief about ourselves.
Oh my God, that is so sad. But it's actually true.
Yeah.
Because while I was asking you that, a thought popped into my head, which is like, you know, so I grew up in a very normal family. My parents were semi-crazy, but let's not go into that. But financially very normal. Maybe at some points like less than average. And then when people used to ask me like what I want to be when I grow up, I said rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't feel rich as a kid. Like I felt like there were a lot of things that I couldn't have. And I knew that it was on me to go and get it one day, you know? So then across my teenage years and my post-uni years and like even up till now, like I run my own business. Some people will be like, oh yeah, it's so superficial to like just keep thinking about money. But I realized like that has brought me security and stability. And I realized that stemmed from my childhood because we were backpacking the world with no money. And I'm like, what about a house? What about retirement? Like there's no idea of the future at all. So yeah, this makes sense. I feel like maybe that was my childhood trauma.
Yeah. And so, and that might be a clear goal, like maybe sometimes unconscious, sometimes very overt.
Yeah.
But that money is maybe more of a focus.
So,
whereas if you were born to say a billionaire, unlikely to be a major goal.
Yeah, like what is money?
Yeah.
yeah. So based on this theory, right, I mean, you mentioned career choices. Now, what about the partners we choose? Does our trauma does our trauma also shape the type of people that we want to love?
I think the unresolved trauma that we carry, it radiates through us in all departments. It's like a fractal. It's what's happening in one part of who we are happens in all parts of who we are.
Yeah.
So it will affect our leadership, our relationships, it'll affect everything. In terms of relationships, I think we tend to gravitate towards something that's familiar. Sometimes we go for the exotic, that becomes erotic, and sometimes we go for, birds of a feather flock together. We're often attracted to the familiar. So if, let's say, dad was a raging alcoholic who used to scream at me as a kid, well, I might go, I will never date an alcoholic. I got to date something. Let's say if I was a girl, I was like a typical heterosexual kind of dynamic, just for ease of language. I might choose a guy who's absolutely not an alcoholic. But damn it, if he's just as narcissistic, just as horribly angry, that I'll find something that is similar, even though I think it's different on the external.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is familiar feels comfortable, even if it's a bad familiar. And I also think that we want to be accepted for who we are. And if the world had told me when I was growing up that I was some bad, lousy kid who was no good for anything except throwing whiskey bottles at, then I will find someone who sees me for who I really think I am now. And that will mean someone who devalues me and treats me badly, because that feels like I am being acknowledged for who I really am. So we are attracted to people who help us feel seen, even if what they see is horrendous.
So
That is so bad.
So bad.
It's so
But so
bad.
true, right?
It's
Yeah.
so true.
Like, I
Because
have-
most people, whether they say it or not, secretly believe they're not enough, they're not good, and they're not worthy of being loved. And it takes a long time to genuinely feel like I love myself, I respect myself. I mean, I know people say that all the time now online, but most people secretly believe I'm not enough, I'll never be good enough, and I need to do something huge to gain your love and affection, whether as a friend, whether as a partner, whether as a boss, right? So then when someone who is our partner comes into our life and affirms that, yeah, you're not good enough, you're not rich enough, you're not smart enough, we believe that, and we like stay there because that's comfortable, because that's what we secretly believe about ourselves, which is so true, but so sad. I hate it.
So think about like that friend
This
of
is
yours.
why we need therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Exactly.
this is so scary. Sorry, please go on.
So I think of we've all probably had that friend who, if only she or he could find that loving partner who was, unconditionally giving to them.
Yeah.
And then they find the partner. They find that guy who is so unconditionally loving.
They cannot. They will cheat on them because they just can't deal with it. They can't believe that you love them that much. Yeah. They can't believe that you think they're enough.
I'll go out with a biker.
I'm getting goosebumps now because I've been there. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I've dated those type of women. You know what?
Still believes in therapy.
Hold on. Stop giving me these facts so I really got to think about it, right? I'm really thinking about it now. So I've once dated a girl who got out of a very, very toxic relationship, right? And I didn't use it as ammo. So for example, I'm just listening to it. I'm just treating you as a woman that should be treated of how of a nice guy I am, whatever you want to call it, right? And then, things didn't work out. But after the relationship, she had been telling her friends and had told me that I was actually the one for her. But she just couldn't love me as much.
Yeah.
So now that you are saying this and what you are saying, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I also have friends who were abused when they were young.
Yeah.
And is now not married, together with an abusive boyfriend.
Yes.
And he or she is totally okay with it. Like, they're like, this is normal.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with it, I'm like, oh my God, whatever you're saying is true.
Is this because like we as humans, we are more afraid of change and the unknown and how scary the unknown is? So we would rather pick something that we know, even if it's bad. Because like, what if the change is even worse? Like, we just don't know and we're so scared of that.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think another possibility is this idea of I want to be seen for who I am. Because that is, to me, love. It's like, if you see me the way I really am, then I feel known. And if I see myself as a horrific person, well, then you should see me as a horrific person to make me feel fully known.
Do you think someone can truly heal their traumas, or is there no such thing? It's always a work in progress.
I think a lot of people want their traumas to be wiped out. So
100%.
I occasionally get asked, exactly. Can you erase my memory of my girlfriend and everything about her? Use some hypnosis, and I'll pay your fee and erase
guys,
everything.
He said he is not Doctor Strange.
If only.
He's a psychotherapist.
If only. And I don't think that works. But I think we can become more free of our traumas, and I think we can become totally free of many of our traumas. Yes, I absolutely believe that.
So now I'm thinking about it, right? Can trauma be masked as standards? Now let's take Jenny's example of being poor, growing up poor. And now that she's older, she only want to date men who earns more than 100K a year.
This is...
Now.
Why is she giggling?
Because it's true. She has said it before. Minimally, 100K a year. That's not much. It's really not much.
I really don't think it's much. And first of all, let me just preface, that doesn't mean I need to date a rich guy. I don't think... Yeah, okay.
I mean, okay, to some people, they don't earn 100K a year. They're just like $10,000 a month or less, or like 8,000 plus. Okay? So she grew up poor. Now I only want to date men who are earns 100K a year.
Yeah.
I see that as standards.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you tell the difference between trauma and like standards?
Oh, I see. Like, does it come from a genuine sense of preference, or does it come from some anxious engine inside?
Yeah.
I think it's super hard to tell. Am I a psychologist because it's a natural extension of who I am and my personality, or is it some deficit that I'm compensating for?
Yeah.
Super hard to tell.
Okay.
No, but I think for that also, I do see like a correlation, right? Because like, I think I grew up rich in other areas holistically, but financially, maybe not so much, right? And like, for me, it's not about poor or rich. It's more like, as a kid, did I feel secure? I didn't feel secure because like we were jet setting all over the world. And like, I never had a fixed school, never had fixed friends, all of these things. So as a kid, I felt a lack of stability.
Yeah.
Right? And I realized as an adult that money is one source that can buy you some stability, not full stability in all areas, but some stability. And that's why it became important to me, because that was a form of stability that I could control myself, right? I can't control, like, if I have a partner, what if they're abusive? What if they're this? What if they leave me? Like, I can't control all of those. So this became a bucket of stability that I craved as a kid that I could fulfill on my own as an adult. Yeah. So I do see like some correlation there.
See?
Yeah. Totally.
She doesn't need therapy.
I went for therapy before, by the way.
She knows. She knows.
But think about your ex-girlfriend, right?
Okay.
So she was like going, he was the man for me, but somehow it didn't work.
Yeah.
That might be a case where her friends were not enough to help her let go of the fixed mindset she had that she needed to be with someone less good than you.
Okay, you want me to call her? You
Go
want to talk
for
to
it.
her? Hey! I have a doctor for you. It's me. But no, it's not about me. I just gonna send you a doctor that will help you. No. Okay, no, that makes so much sense, right? And especially like in today, there's so much talk about trauma. I feel like the word trauma is being abused.
Yeah.
And now you just gave us a full explanation of how trauma can really shape a person. Now, okay, let's talk about you a little bit, right? Because now you... I'm going to skip a question here because I'm very interested to know, as a psychotherapist, understanding traumas, understanding how a human mind works, how do you then date? Because you get what I mean? It's like you know too much. I feel like sometimes too much knowledge is a curse.
Yes.
It's really a curse, right? And with this knowledge, if let's say I have this knowledge, whoever I'm dating, I'll keep questioning myself. Is this really who I want, or am I overcompensating for something?
Yeah.
That I'm lacking for? Do I really love myself, or does you get what I mean? It's just too much knowledge. So how do you date that?
I think you just got to take one step at a time and not think too much. I think when I started learning this stuff, it was in my mind every lunch, every conversation, every discussion. I was thinking with these variables in my mind. Now it just doesn't bother me. Dating a psychologist, two psychologists dating each other, that can be crazy making. Or it can be fantastic.
Are you dating a psychologist?
I have dated a psychologist.
And so that's interesting.
It's very interesting.
So it's theory versus theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mind games versus mind games.
It's
Next
like,
level.
It's like, we can analyze ourselves to the nth degree. But can you change? Can you love someone despite the fact that they hurt you? Can you overcome the differences? Because at the end of the day, it's more than just insight. You might have tons of insight, but do you have what it takes to love and change? And so actually it's I think there is a help, because you can see problems, you can talk about problems, hopefully. But I tell you, a lot of psychologists are pretty neurotic.
Okay.
So yeah, how do I date? Modestly.
No, okay. And then if you're sad, do you have a therapist?
Sometimes. I'm not in therapy at the moment, but there have been times in my career, both sometimes it's to learn, like how do you treat clients this way? So I saw an art therapist for a while because that was more because I wanted to learn the skills. Like, so I could learn, see, maybe it's good for me, maybe it's going to be good for my clients. But I've been in therapy because I believe in it. I think it can help improve a person. And also it makes me a better therapist. So if I'm working with a client, like I remember one of my first clients, I was working with another fully qualified therapist. Yeah. And she reminded me of the girlfriend who'd just broken up with me. And so I was like, wow, I have to be careful. Like part of me feels very affectionate towards this old lady. I don't know why. She was so much older than my ex-girlfriend, but there was something similar about them. Am I being too gentle? Am I not being gentle enough? Or is my stuff getting in the way of treating someone effectively as a therapist? And therapy can help you get to the bottom of that and to get past that a bit more easily.
Okay, still under the topic of traumas, right? Okay. So I mean, we talk a lot about traumas. To the people at home now, if let's say like they watch this and then they go like, oh my God, now I need to go and find out what exactly did I go through. And if let's say they're not so privileged to go and find a therapy, is there a method where someone can do at home to find out what their traumas are?
There's a big emphasis on like, where does my trauma come from? And I think that can be helpful, but I think we can spend too much time on it. Like it doesn't really matter where it came from. And what if the Hindus and the Buddhists are right that we've had dozens of lifetimes that are affecting us? Like we simply don't know. Like we don't know. We can guess where it came from. Like, I'm afraid of riding a bike and I have a vague memory of how I had a bike accident, whatever it may be. We can sometimes get it pretty right, we think. But I think there's a lot we can do in or out of therapy, which doesn't require knowing where did this all come from. And I think this is where mindfulness has been super helpful. So the practice of noticing the emotions that are arising and knowing that that's not me. These are just emotions. They are things that come and go, and simply to be aware of them and to try and bring acceptance around what you're experiencing, good or bad, that if you can breed a sense of awareness and acceptance without getting caught up in those thoughts and emotions, that's incredibly powerful, but difficult to do.
Because, right, so again, trauma is very trendy, and as this whole, like what Jenny said, right, this whole like psychotherapy therapy thing is since it became a trend, there's also a lot of new age therapy methods, right? And so let me give you an example: breathwork.
Got it. Yeah.
Right, breathwork classes.
Hugely trendy right now.
Super trendy, right?
Yeah.
However, there are also people carrying out breathwork classes who are not doctors, who are not clinical or anything like that, and they're carrying out these classes, right? And they promote it as like explore your inner experiences and promote healing.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked, like, is that if let's say I can't go to therapy, so do these like new age methods, do they work as a doctor? Like, what do you think about these new age methods?
I think in general, if enough people say it's helping them, it probably helps someone. But if someone were really sick, like psychologically, I wouldn't want to be playing around with a treatment that hasn't been validated properly. So breathwork, for example, quite a lot of research on it. And so far, the research suggests that for people who have no clinical problem, that it can be helpful, mildly helpful. And maybe there are some for whom it's very helpful, but on average, it's between mild to moderate impact for those who are psychologically healthy.
Yeah.
But when someone says, just go to see my breathwork practitioner, and it will cure your depression, I'm like, no, because you're creating a false hope. Like people will go to those breathwork sessions and they're going to end up probably more demoralized because it's not going to work for them. And so I'd say if someone's got a significant psychological problem, I would lean towards a well-experimented, known path for treatment. But if somebody is fine and just wants to experiment, I'm like, go for it. Like breathwork, for example, there's certain kinds of breathwork being used by the special forces in the United States, the Green Beret.
Like Wim Hof?
Yeah, Wim Hof breathing, that's super popular like during COVID and now. There's box breathing, which the American SEALs use. So these different methods, I think, really are helpful. But creating a significant change inside, I'd say not to hope too much, but try, see if it helps you.
I think it's so important to define like what you even mean when you say therapy, right? Because now there's like sound therapy, there's smell therapy,
Cold
there's like
therapy.
food therapy, shopping, retail therapy, whatever, right? So if therapy is like casually defined as something that makes me feel better, then I think breathwork, yes. Yoga, yes. Because you're learning to slow down in this fast-paced world, right? Like when was the last time I sat down? I just breathe without thinking about my to-do list. So does it help me feel more relaxed? Yes. But if if I just witnessed a murder scene last week, that's not really going to help, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to define and to be very clear what do you mean by therapy as well. Then you can seek the right solution for what you're facing.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been to some breathwork classes and I used to do it quite a bit to hype myself up for things. I don't use it to heal my traumas because I've seen like people doing breathwork and then they scream and they're like, oh my God, that felt so good. I'm like, it felt good, but you can't disguise this as you have healed, right?
Maybe somebody has. I mean, I don't know. So I think some of these things, you get these kind of amazing stories and it's like somebody's taking cold baths and their depression is gone. It's like, wow, that's really cool. But on average, I don't think that depressed people get healed by it. Some may be helped by it. But so I think, like breathwork, I think can help. It can for some.
I want to ask your opinion on something as a certified professional, because I heard trauma is stored in your body. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Right? So is that why when people like scream, like the trauma is like somewhere in their body, like in their gut or something. And then like when they scream, it's being let out. No, I legit have seen
No,
this online.
I am not doubting you. I'm not doubting you.
They're like, this is why you feel a lump in your throat. Or like you
your
have this description
your
of
throat
like
chakras are not in line or whatever it is, right? Yeah.
or like you feel like a rock in your stomach when you see someone that you really, really don't like, right? Or has really treated you badly, and then you see them unexpectedly, you feel a pit in your stomach. Is that like trauma? Like what's your perspective on this? Like, is trauma actually stored in your body? Like what does that actually mean? Or is that...
I think the body has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can say that for sure, but certainly many people who work in trauma have no doubt about it. That there is something in the soma. So for example, I was working with somebody who has fallen off a horse quite badly and had a concussion and damaged the right side of her body. And simply by being present with the right side of her body, there were memories coming back. There were tears, and then there was a sense of relief, and boom, she fell straight asleep. Like it was just like knockout. And woke up feeling very relieved. And I'm thinking something, I feel like something there was being healed by focusing on the physical. So I think that does make a difference. I think there's also something very valuable in expressing. So is the scream, when somebody wants to scream, is that for sure healing a trauma? I don't know. Maybe sometimes just making too much noise. But sometimes I think finding a way of expressing it helps you accept it. Because I think that's the key. So if I draw, if I scream, if I talk, if I dance it out, that some means of expressing what I'm feeling helps me then accept it. And I do think that the more physical often wins over the more passive.
Yeah.
That's actually a good theory. Like if breath work helps you accept that you have pains or you do have trauma, like basically accept your wrongs, then if you put it that way, I will go with it. I'll be like, I think it's time for me to really accept that I'm not good at something, or there's something about me that I cannot accept. Maybe breath work will help me, but I don't think anyone should position it as healing. Because as a professional, what does healing actually mean?
Yeah, it's like, what does healing mean? What does trauma actually mean? I mean, I can talk to a friend and I feel healed after that conversation because someone accepted me, right? So,
or you know what's a better question? I mean, we talk about traumas and healing, right? And we all know where it comes from, right? What does healing and forgiveness actually mean to you as a psychotherapist?
Not long ago, I spent 3 months in silent meditation. And
3 months is very long.
3 months was quite a while.
Almost 100 days.
Yeah, almost. And I spoke to a few other people who'd done similar stuff. And I was like, what'd you get out of it? You know, I mean, many of them want to be enlightened. I don't know how many of them ever achieved it. And I remember one guy saying to me, I am just as as I was before, but I feel much more comfortable with it now. And I thought, that rings a bell. That sounds right. Personally, when I think of growth and healing, I think of your mind becoming more calm and your baseline of joy being greater, that I am happier and more calm. And so when terrible things happen, I may feel the whole range of emotions, anger, disgust, hatred, whatever it may be, but I return to my baseline faster. Now, if I were a very evolved person, then maybe I wouldn't feel these intense, horrible emotions. But I think as we evolve, as we develop, as we grow, as we heal, that those are the two characteristics that I think are key. Increased equanimity and calm in the mind and increased joy.
You know what's funny? So like I once had a Muslim gay guy and a religious teacher we did an episode. I mean, because of course being gay in Islam is very sinful. Difficult. It's very haram, right? And he kind of said a very similar thing. So what he said was, so the gay guy found, I mean, he went to jail for a bit, for 3 months, I think, if I'm not wrong. And he said in jail, he found God. right? So he started praying again and everything. And of course, Muslims will argue is that when you pray and you're gay, it's not counted because you're still haram or whatever it is. But he said that he found peace in God making him gay. And he has accepted that this is the part about him.
Yeah.
And what's next is how do I live around it by still, being a good Muslim, but still being gay. And then the religious teacher said this, like, look, not a lot of people reach a level of peace with religion and themselves. Because we often always question religion, like, why is God doing this to me? Why is this my experience and everything? And he was like, these are all your tribulations that God give you. Everybody, when you reach a certain stage, you will accept that, these are really just your tribulations.
My cards.
Yeah, these are my cards.
Yeah.
Play with
You
it.
stop questioning it. You're like, okay, what can I do with them now? Instead. Yeah.
So it's
that makes
actually
sense.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Wait,
accepting himself, like forgiving himself.
Yes.
Like I didn't choose to be gay, but I just need to accept that this is the way I am. I think that's really beautiful.
So so it's pretty similar to what you're saying, like healing.
Yeah.
So basically it's just forgiving yourself.
Yes, I think of, not to get too geeky about it, but I think of forgiveness and acceptance and love being very closely related.
Okay.
And so if I truly deeply accept myself, it means it implies a love. I think acceptance is one of the deepest expressions of love. And it involves forgiveness of myself. And if I accept you, it means I may not forget the fact that you might have hurt me in some way or the other, but I see your humanity and accept the similarity between us.
Yeah. On the topic of forgiveness, right? Like, I think people confuse this a lot. Like, people always say, and I'm sure all of us have experienced this before. Like, when we break up with someone, when we fight with someone, a few months down the road, we're like, we forgive you.
Yeah.
But truly, we don't.
Like, there was someone in my life that I feel really treated me unfairly, right? So for the longest time, and I'm not proud of this, but like I carried it for maybe over 20 years. And at some point I realized that they're still living their lives.
Yeah.
Like, they're not thinking about this. I'm the one that's been thinking about this for the past like 10, 15, 20 years, right? So I realized at some point, about like 5 years ago, that forgiveness is actually for me and not for that person, right? Because we always think, oh, you ruined my birthday on this date and this year, and I have to now forgive you for ruining my special day. But you're actually, like, since that day, you've been moving on with life, and I'm the one ruminating over all of this and thinking about it and feeling sad about it and having my life being affected about it. So I realized at some stage, like, I'm the one that has to let it go. And when I forgive you, it's actually to give myself peace.
Yes.
And has nothing to do with you.
Yes.
And everything to do with me. So I feel like since then, my view on the word like forgiveness changed. And whenever I haven't forgiven someone, I know that I'm just letting the bad energy stay in my life.
Yeah.
And like, why would I do that if I love myself, right? So that's when I learn to let things go.
And maybe that non-forgiveness actually might even harm our physical health. Like we feel terrible. And when you talked about, if you can't afford therapy, what can you do?
Yeah.
Maybe forgiveness is not a bad thing to do. And gratefulness would be the other one. I think the counterpoint.
So when you see clients and they say, I don't know, I can't forgive that someone.
Yeah.
What do you usually tell them?
I try and be there with them in it. Like, he or she did this to me, and to sort of accept them in their pain so that they can accept themselves in their pain. Maybe one day we'll get to a conversation of like, does it serve you to feel this hostility towards the perpetrator? And, but if you get to that too soon, people go, screw you. Like, how dare you
like
judge
you're not
me?
listening.
Exactly. I have legitimate, grievances, and often they really do. Somebody say who's been tortured. To have that, to help that person get to a place of forgiveness. That's huge. They may never get there. And if they do, I mean, that's massive. And that, I think, is deep growth.
Yeah. Have you met someone who tells you like, I think I fully forgive this person?
Yes.
And do you ask, how do you feel?
I think about it in myself, actually. Freer and lighter. But I also don't feel sure that it ain't going to come back one day and like I'm not going to feel the same hatred again.
Yeah.
But when I think back of pains that I have had towards people and how much more easy I feel now, it makes me wish that the people who have aggrieved me in some way, that I could let go of that more easily. But some part of me sometimes doesn't want to let go, as if there's something virtuous, or maybe if I hold on to this grievance, you'll somehow psychically feel pain. So I want you to feel, if it's 1% of the pain I feel, I want to hold on to it.
It's expectation, right? Like you expect that person to repent. You expect that person to ask you for forgiveness. But at some point, you have to like reach this point where it may never happen.
It's just
you may never get that sorry.
Yes.
And you have to be okay with it and ask yourself, am I going to live with this until I'm 50, 60, 70, 80 and until I die?
Yep.
Or am I going to accept that I may never get this sorry? If I do, amazing. But I may never get this sorry. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to move on.
Doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
That person on the deathbed says, I'm sorry. It's like, well, what now?
Okay. You mean I've been holding on to this for 10 years just for this lack of feeling?
Yeah. So actually, I mean,
yeah.
Is it right for me to say that most people find it very hard to forgive themselves for allowing that to happen to them?
I think there's often a lot of shame around that.
Okay.
And that shame can be terrible. And so that's one place where going back to the trauma can be helpful. Remembering what actually happened. People often say, I can't believe I let that happen to me. And when you go back, no, you didn't just let it happen to you. You were a little child. You had no choice, or you wanted to find a different way. It helps people realize, oh, I'm not just a pathetic, helpless person. I tried. I did what I could, and I have something to be proud of. That can be so powerful when there's a shame, which often exists in someone who's been a victim, and to help them feel a sense of pride it's an enormous and beautiful change.
Okay. Let's move on. We spent an hour talking about traumas, but I'm all for it. Now, on your website, one of the things that, one of the methods that you carry out is actually clinical hypnosis.
Yes.
Now, as a regular Joes and as a non-degree holder, when I hear the word hypnosis, I think about someone holding a ball in front of me and going, follow the ball. Yeah, follow the ball. 1, 2, 3, boom, you sleep. And sometimes you see this at magic shows where they boom and then they hug the person and the person falls asleep. Now, in clinical terms, or rather what you practice, is it similar or totally different?
The principles are the same.
Okay.
But the expression is totally different. I've never done one of those instant trances. Like they are hard to do. They're kind of aggressive and show-offy and egotistical, and I got no need to do them. What I use it for is, helping with depression, helping with anxiety, helping with different medical conditions, irritable bowel. One thing I haven't been very successful with is warts, but other clinicians I know are much better than I am at helping treat people with warts. How does hypnosis help a wart? I don't know that we know, but the statistics are clear that for many people it is helpful. So it can help with all variety of things, giving birth with less pain. Pain is a big one. Pain hypnosis is a very helpful treatment for pain if you have hypnotic talent. Not everybody does. Some people have more hypnotizability, some people have less. If you've got more hypnotizability, treatment for pain is more successful with hypnosis. And it can be as strong as an opiate, so it's as good as taking morphine for some people, and doesn't come with the side effects and the addiction. So it really is a wonderful thing to try if you're in physical pain.
Based on your experience, right, are there any examples like how your hypnosis has helped a client?
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think today. So when executives come in to see me, and so they're not necessarily in physical pain and they don't have a medical issue, they may not be depressed, they want performance. And so I'll use hypnosis for guided imagery, like to visualize what is it I want with my life? What is it that how do I get some more creativity? I was working with a well-known person, a very sort of remarkable performer who is always wound up. He's always in charge, always got to be in control, always ready to make an urgent decision. And his job is the kind of job where emergencies cause death. And so it's not surprising. He is always ready for action. And hypnosis for him was such a profound, almost mystical experience where he could go so deep and so quiet and so silent in a way that he described he'd barely ever done in his life. And in that state, I had said to him, and now think, imagine a message from a loving and kind person. You may or may not know who they are, but they know you. What's the message? And you can just see him well up with tears of this feeling of appreciation. He had been like whipping himself to be this high performer who could save lives, and he did. But he never let a moment to go, it's enough, like take a break now. And so hypnosis in that case was mixed in with it was sort of relaxation and guided imagery. In other cases, I use it sometimes to treat trauma. All kinds of interesting cases. I think of a case of a lady, one of the first cases I ever had that was of a medical nature, a lady who would grind her teeth. And just in a session of hypnosis, it turned out that she was from the southern states in the United States, where she explained to me later that meant that girls should be seen and not heard. And she was very defiant, and she said it in a very angry way, gritting her teeth. And she felt that there was something about grinding her teeth, which was a statement of defiance against the sexism of the South. And so we discussed this and we talked about it and we came up with a hypnotic cure. And she said that her face and her body hadn't felt so relaxed as if she'd been on a holiday for a couple of weeks. And I followed up with her and she said this sense of relaxation persisted. So there are lots of really amazing things. I should have some better, easier answers. Oh, I think of one. A gentleman came in who was afraid of flying. This was an airline
being
steward.
on planes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Airline steward who had suddenly developed a phobia of flying.
What?
And this was...
I think he just didn't want to work.
That's so random. He was just sick of the 2 a.m. flights.
Was he a national carrier?
He was flying internationally. He had quit being an airline steward.
Okay.
But it wasn't long ago. But his partner and he would fly, like to fly out of Singapore. And he was terrified to get on a plane. And this was one of the cases where I wrote it up for potential publication, where it was like, wow, you don't often get a one-session wonder.
Yeah.
And it was a one-session wonder. His phobia broke. And there was a lot of emotion behind it, a lot of meaning behind it. He didn't know why he had the phobia, and it came out quite clearly in hypnosis. And just like really beautiful, really amazing. So hypnosis is not like a cure-all. You can't do all the things that Hollywood says, but sometimes you can do useful stuff with it. And like how
It's
cool
crazy.
to be able to help change someone's life in just a session.
Hypnosis takes you to a place where you can't go in real life, or that you can't really access in real life.
Probably can, but may not have trained yourself how to do it. So self-hypnosis is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like to get yourself into a state of calm and tranquility.
Yeah.
But it's how you use it, and many people haven't explored it.
Okay, I don't know whether I should say this on screen, but I'm just going to tell you, okay?
Uh-oh.
So, national carriers in Singapore, they have a bond. So when they get a job, they are bonded for 2 years. And the only way they can quit...
Oh, I didn't know
Is
that.
it a medical issue?
Yes!
So you think my guy had a medical issue?
Yeah, that's why I asked you. I'm like, was he from a national carrier? So like, if you have a letter to say, okay, you're not fit to fly, you're out.
You're out.
And you don't have to pay the bond.
This guy had already left already.
Okay.
Different story. But I guess also more on an interesting note that might be less common. We already talked about hypnosis, right?
Yeah.
But then you also mentioned that you do role play.
Yes.
During these hypnosis sessions with some of your clients. Can you give us an example of how that works?
I use role play quite a bit, not necessarily in hypnosis, although sometimes. And it's to help people kind of inoculate against what may happen. So I'm going to go up to the boss and tell them that I need to take some medical leave, and I'm not going to tell them the reason. I don't want my boss to know, because then maybe I won't get the promotion or the bonus. And so we will rehearse it together. It's a really good method. And sometimes when I'm pretending to be that other person, say the boss, I'll be harsher than the boss, the real boss. So when they face their boss to give that message, it'll be easier for them. Sometimes I do this kind of, I don't know if role play is the right word, but acting different sides of who you are. So if one side of you, for example, goes, oh, Drew's like this great guy and I definitely want to be his girlfriend. And another side goes, no, he's not my sort. I need to go out with the guy over there who's really bad news. That you've got different parts of who you are inside. And so I have people act them out. And that can be a great thing. Because,
like the voices in your head.
Yes.
You're acting out the different voices in your head.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Okay.
Because when you do that, because normally the voices in our head go so fast, we don't really listen to either of them. We just know we're stuck. But when you listen to them one by one, and that's where a therapist can help, because you kind of say, no, stay with that angry voice or stay with whichever voice it is. You get to see why is that voice so angry? Why is it so pushy? Why is it saying I have to date you or I shouldn't date you? And that, that can be.
I guess that kind of helps you play out like different scenes in a movie, like ending A versus ending B, and you having lived through that movie scene, you can now decide, which is the better ending. Then I choose it. But when it happens in your head, it's like yes, no, date him, don't date him, get divorced, don't get divorced. It's so fast that you're not aware of it, right? So I could see why role play could be quite useful.
And it helps you accept what's really going on. Like the reason I think you should do that is, and you listen, there's normally a fear in the back of it. I'm afraid that if you don't, blah, blah, blah will happen. And so you can accept yourself a bit more easily, knowing what the real issues are, as opposed to having maybe self-hatred or a lack of forgiveness for yourself.
We move on to another part of your profession, which is leadership coaching. When I Google your name, Google always talks about this skill that you've created for yourself. And it's a human development skill. And I want to ask, and rather for the audience watching, right? What is this human development skill and why is it important?
So I created it to show how I think psychology and coaching fit together, because I do both. In fact, to me, it's all just one soup. Like if someone says, I just want to see you for coaching, well, I'll probably use the clinical stuff as well, and the other way around. So I don't create much distinction because I don't need to. I've qualified in both. But I was trying to say that there is a distinction. Many people may go to a coach. For example, I was talking to someone just the other day who said how after she'd given birth, her boss gave her a coach to work with, and it was bad for her, like because she was having postpartum depression. She didn't know what that was, and the coach didn't want to crack their rice bowl by referring her to a therapist, and so kept her on, saying, no, you need to stay with me. Right. As a result, she was feeling worse and worse as a person because she wasn't getting better. And so it was my attempt to say, people who are doing really well in life, you might work with a psychologist, you might work with a coach. There are many psychologists who work, at the high end with sports teams and others, or creativity. But when you work in the dark end of life, when you're working with those who are really suffering, who have a clinical diagnosis, that is only the realm of the mental health professional. Coaches don't belong there. Now, if you're a trauma-informed coach, that's sort of a bit more of the in-between land, but it's a human development scale. I created it just to say there's a distinction in role, but the line is blurry. So that's what it was about.
So then how do you decide if one person needs coaching or psychotherapy?
Yeah, this is blurry. It's blurry.
Okay.
And so I teach people on exactly this issue. And so I can tell you exactly what I encourage my students to do. But basically, if someone has more than a mild level of psychological distress, I think they should be referred to at least be checked out. Doesn't mean that you as a coach shouldn't keep working with them, but they should also be checked out, perhaps by their GP, their physician, or by a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
So for the layman, can I broadly say that coaching is more for mid to high performers at this current stage? If you feel like you're doing okay or you're doing great in life, but you want to be even better, then you find a coach. If you feel like you're doing less than okay or pretty bad, then you go for psychotherapy.
I think that's fair. I think on the high end of the scale, you're doing pretty well. You might see a psychologist or a coach, because there are many psychologists working with elite performers. But if it's hard, if let's say it's just hard to get out of bed in the morning, or it's been more than 2 weeks and I just feel rotten, or I'm always so anxious. In Singapore, levels of anxiety are very high. Then, or you think you might have ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm like, just get checked out by someone who can do that. You might continue with a coach, but at least get checked out by your physician or by a mental health professional.
And okay, when I think of the word coach, right? Now let's say I'm a host, right?
Yeah.
The only person that in my head, if I want to be a better host, my coach would need to be
even better than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Stephen Butler.
Yeah. So who are the types of people that walk through your door?
So someone comes in and says, I want to be on the Olympic team for something. There's no way I'm going to be better than them.
Yeah.
When a CEO comes to see me, they've been working in their industry for years. There's no way I have anything to tell them about their industry.
Yeah.
I know nothing. But I might be able to help them use their mind to be even more successful.
Okay.
So I could possibly help you with what you're doing to think about what would, let's do it right now, shall we? So how good are you at what you're doing? Give it a scale on 100. Are you at 100%? Are you less than 100%?
I would say like a 60, 70%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say 70% to be generous.
Yeah.
So between 70% and 100%, what's the difference? If you were even better at your job, what would be the difference?
Money.
Okay. How would you be different? Because
how I behave.
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
I'm at 100%.
If you were 100% good at what you're doing, if you're only 70% now, how would you be different in your behavior and also your feelings if you were at 100%?
My behavior, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be an
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming from a point of money changes someone or whatever it is, I don't think I'll be that.
Yeah.
But how I feel, I'll feel extremely very happy.
Okay.
Because it's something that I've been working on for a very long time in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I've reached my peak, alone or whatever you want to call it, right? I'll be like, what's next?
Okay. So in what you're doing now, you're saying you're at 70%, but you could be at 100%.
Yeah.
And part of the difference between those two is happiness. Is that right?
You can say that. Yeah.
Anything else?
Probably maybe. Okay, how do I explain this to you? Okay, so usually shows operate with a team.
Yeah.
Right? A creative team around them. Not one person writes, many people write.
Yeah.
But here I'm writing alone. So the entire show is heavily dependent on the brains, on my brains, on what I'm interested about, what I would want to write about, or whatever it is. Right? And again, like I mentioned, I don't think I can be compared to the other shows in Singapore because these people are way smarter than I am. So they think about things that I don't think about. And maybe because education has helped them, and I don't have the education that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually 70% might be a little bit too high. I will bring it down to 50%.
Okay. Can we keep going on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
go.
Oh my
so
God. You're so good.
Yeah.
I just don't, I'm not sure how to structure the time, but I know that's your job. So right now, relative to your potential, where are you at in your skill at your job? At what level do you deliver in your job? Are you delivering at 100% of your potential or less than 100%?
Not less. Okay. Not more, not less. I would like.
You're at 100%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fabulous. I can't help you more than 100%. If you're at 100%,
Like can I repeat that question again? Because I feel like I'm answering it wrong. Because when you say 100%,
that's great. No, I mean, I believe you. But so what's your potential in what you're doing? Are you actualizing your potential in doing your job? Like as a show host,
yeah.
are you as good as you can be?
Oh no, of course not.
Are you not? You could be better.
100%.
You could be 100%, but you're not at 100%.
Okay, but I think you need to understand the industry first, right? Like,
No, I don't need.
you don't need? Okay, then no. That's why I say I don't think I answered the question correctly because I don't think I'm at 100%.
So compared to what you could be, you're less than 100%.
Yes.
What are you at?
That's why I say a 50, 70?
50? Okay, 50. Okay. So how do you need to be different to get closer to 100? What needs to change about you?
I think firstly, I need to hire a team.
Okay, so you need to hire a team. What else do you need to do?
Secondly, have better connections where I mean, look, we met by luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because a friend knows you.
Yeah.
And if I could position myself in a way where even if we don't know each other, and you come across the show and you're like, you know what? I want to sit down with you.
And do you have the abilities to create that sort of network to...
I think I have that network.
Okay, what's holding you back?
It's just that I need to rebrand myself because of this past branding that I have. The show wasn't always like this, you know. The show has always been raunchy and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we talk about a lot of sex and relationships and everything.
Oh, no wonder you're so comfortable with that just now.
Yeah. So I understand why people don't take me seriously.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to change that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so then I just want to position myself better in a way where, you know, when people, again, if let's say now you're on the way home and you scroll TikTok and you see my face and you see me interviewing someone and then you go like, you know what, I want to be seated with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's me operating at 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's 100%?
100% of your potential.
Yes.
You can be more than your potential. So if you think about your potential and where you're at now, two of the things you can do. One is hire a team and the other is set yourself up for getting a better pipeline of guests.
Yeah.
So what could you do to help that happen? What's one thing you could do to help move that along?
I don't know.
Think about it.
What can I do to take action?
Yeah.
Is to take action.
What action?
I think I'm already doing it.
What's that?
Which is positioning myself better, have better conversations. And the only thing that I'm not doing is hiring a team.
Okay. What's holding you back from that?
The fact that human capital costs a lot of money, maybe.
Okay.
That's one. And I don't think this show operates as exactly like a media outlet.
Yeah.
So it's not news.
Yeah.
I don't really need a full-on team.
Yeah.
Especially if I can do things myself.
Okay. So what I'd say is what you're describing actually is that you are at your potential right now. There are certain things that could be better. You could have the money to have a better team. You could have a better reputation or the reputation that you want, but you are changing that. So it sounds like you already are at close to 100%. So from what you're saying, I don't hear the delta, the place to grow. But let's say you were to say, well, the reason I haven't hired a team is because I'm nervous about being a boss. Or the reason I don't have a better reputation, a better pipeline is because I keep on playing the same jokes and going back to the way I was before because I'm nervous of changing. Then you've identified areas, the areas, not me, to grow. And then I can help you along the way. So I don't need to be Mike Tyson to help a boxer fight better. It might help, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. No, now that, you know, I think you should have started with that.
Okay.
It's okay, you can cut it.
Yeah.
Put it back.
No. And then I could have answered the question properly. Because now
sorry.
after you said that, I'm not blaming you at all.
Please.
Yeah. So after you said that, I think I know what my real problem is.
Go for it.
It's traumas.
Okay.
Because I really think, again, that I don't think I can be good enough for people to go like, look, he's the best in Singapore.
Okay.
Because I'm just not qualified for it.
No,
I'm not.
screw that.
So you're saying that you, because of a lack of papers and education, you're not good enough.
That, and I mean, for all the stupid things I've said in the past. Yeah.
Okay, so you hold on to that belief, and what it probably will do is come back and affirm you. You will create a world around you that tells you that that's the truth. So if you can change that belief, that actually maybe I can be even better than people who've got lots of papers, then you open up a door of possibility. So then it becomes an issue of your mind, your sense of your own limitation. And if you can unblock that sense of limitation, a lot more generally becomes possible. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think it makes even more sense because I have been trying to unlock that. I've been trying to tell myself that, look, I mean, even if people don't like you, I'm very sure there's a group of people that don't like me and don't believe in what I'm doing. They just think I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. But I also believe that there's a group of people who look at me and like, you know, like he's trying. He's really trying.
Yeah.
Like, let him try. Maybe he's gonna hit somewhere. You know, and if I can just serve this group of people, and I believe that it will go wider. Yeah, it's just that if I could, if I feel like if I am way better at what I do, with the education that I have or whatever it is, right, I will have reached there faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, I mean, we all carry our own limiting beliefs, right? So, but I also feel like, you know, like how you talked about, okay, not having paper qualifications or like me making dumb jokes in the past. People might not take me seriously, which is why like professional people might not come on the show or whatever. I feel like you also outwork that, which is why you're sitting with a PhD person right now. Because just because your friend knew him doesn't mean that you're going to be here, right? So I feel like you also got rid of that limiting belief by doing actions that proves to yourself, like not the positive self-talk, like, dude, you can do it, dude, you're smart. But it's more like, yes, I want to change that. Let me invite a new co-host. Let me script different topics, right? And then when those things actually come and like you talk about salary raises or bad bosses or all of these legit topics that are different from the past, and then they get a good response from the audience or like people around you see that reality confirms to your brain that yes, I can do it. And yes, the show is capable of going in a different direction, you know?
So who should I pay, her or you?
I think for a friend, you got a great friend over there.
Who said that we're friends? I'm just being paid to be here.
I'm like, wow, look at you go. No.
When's our first session?
Yeah. Okay, so then now I truly understand. Because I mean, I have a lot of friends who they go for coaching and I don't see it's quite blurry. Or actually, what are you being coached about, right? Because if today I want to be better at football, my coach will be a football coach, you know? But now I understand it. Right?
As leaders, right? Or just as anyone, are there methods where we can self-check? Like, is there a quick rule of thumb process where if I find myself in a particular situation, I can do A, B, and C, and I'm like, okay, is it actually my trauma or is this just me?
One thing that I do myself is when I'm angry, when I can feel the heat of anger, and sometimes it's a very, very small amount of anger.
Yeah.
It might be, the Grab driver's late or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not really angry, but I might feel just a little bit of that heat. Is I ask myself, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
And more than 9 times out of 10, it's fear. And so I go, oh, I'm afraid of being late. And why is that a big deal? Maybe I will arrive and disappoint the two of you. And if I disappoint you, well, then maybe that means I'm a bad person. So it goes like all of a sudden I've gone from anger to feeling like, oh, the anger is a response. It's a protection because of a fear.
Yeah.
And I think when we do that, we get to the wound that is causing our bad behavior or our difficult emotions. And then we have a better chance of working with that.
Okay. Last question on this coaching aspect of your profession, right? What are like some common pain points that most of these CEOs or leaders come to you with?
Oh, I don't know. Some, especially if they've been successful for a while, it's sense of purpose, passion, and direction. Like I've, climbed 2 mountains. I've done really well.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next. What do I really want out of life? Some, it's stress. It's, we've been working so hard. We've done so well, and I'm now toasted. Sometimes, in a Singapore context, there's often a sense there's sex and fidelity. It seems to me is disproportionately an issue. I have a mistress in Thailand and I want to be faithful to my wife, but actually I don't know how to stop because we're so deeply, I bought a property with her or like stories like that where people are embroiled in things that they don't want. Those are some of the typical ones.
So these are CEOs and high level.
No, but it makes sense. Because you know why? They can't tell anyone about it. They can't tell their team.
No,
they can't tell
I
their
know.
employees. They can't tell their wife.
In my head, I'm just like, this is rich people problems.
Rich people problems.
It's rich people problems.
Now
What the hell?
I gotta drop 10 grand. I gotta drop 10 grand on a coach so I can solve my rich people
swear to
problems.
God, I thought you would say, like the pain points is like, oh, how do I make more money? Or how do I be a better boss? Or like, I don't know. But I guess if the pain point is I bought a property with my mistress, you are not in pain, sir. Like I said, you don't
Your
have
trauma isn't real.
Yeah,
according
you
to
don't
you.
have a good friend to tell you stop fucking other woman. Why? It's so simple.
Okay, if you ever are married and you do that, I'll tell you.
Yes, don't tell me. It's rich
Stop
people
sleeping
about
with
that.
people who are not your wife.
No, okay. Last two questions before we close this episode. I mean, we're going for almost 1.5 hours, right? Now, if you could shift one belief about growth, what would it be?
I really like the Buddhist idea of growth, that if you're not enlightened, you're mentally ill. And
If you are not enlightened,
yeah,
is it like
awakened, like whatever this enlightenment thing is, I don't even know if it even exists.
okay?
But I think that's very helpful for me because there's a lot of room for growth. And it makes me think how what I do with my mind in this very second, it authors the suffering and the lack of freedom I will experience. And when I think about it that way, that the opportunities to be free or to suffer are around us all the time. And play back to that very first question you had where you said like, I don't believe in therapy. I think it's all, an indulgence. There's a truth to that. Like what you do with your mind makes a huge difference. And so that belief of, there's a lot of growth available, I think is helpful. That would be something.
I mean, I know obviously there's no such thing as a perfect human being, but to you, what does a well-regulated human being looks like? I'll go first.
Yeah.
For me, my definition of a well-regulated human being is very simple. Like to me, I just want to wake up. If I can consistently do this every day, to me, that would be well-regulated and as close to success as I can possibly get, which is I wake up, I feel calm. Not you wake up and you're like, shit, I gotta get to work. Oh my God, this client, the bills, whatever, right? So I wake up, I feel calm. I go about my day, I feel happy doing the work that I'm doing. Be it the work is like taking care of kids or building a multi-million-dollar empire, right? I don't know. But I wake up, I feel calm. As I go about my day, I feel happy and fulfilled with the work. And when I go to bed at the end of my day, I feel grateful. I'm done.
Like
if
amazing.
I can feel that way day on day, then week on week, then month on month, decade on decade, I've lived a great life. So that's my goal. But I do that one day at a time, not like thinking about what does success and a perfect human look like, right? I try to do that one day at a time. And to me, if I can do this every single day, at the end of the day, when I die, when my time has come, I'm like, if I can do this every day, I would have lived a great life. Yeah. But what is your definition of a well-regulated human being?
Hard to beat that one. I, a few years ago, became so focused on the people who were in a study at Yale University where they had their brain scanned. And this group of 200 had really very unusual brain scans.
Yeah.
And so I went around trying to find them and to speak to them. And they talked about living in a spacious state of sweet stillness. And these were people of every kind of walk of life and religion and education and all the rest of it. And I remember asking a couple of them, like, what about when bad things happen? Like, let's say your child dies or your spouse gets sick. And one of them said, I have a grandson who I am concerned about. But he's like, I don't know quite how it is, but I feel this pervasive sense of sweet stillness. And he said he feels very connected to what's around him, and he feels very quiet inside. And I was like, this sounds amazing. What this group of people have achieved. And the brain scans show this is a very unusual group of people. They have the default node network in the brain is very different from the average person's. And I'm like, I think that's close to it, this calm mind and happiness, sweet stillness.
Yeah, I mean,
no, which doesn't mean don't be active, doesn't mean don't be intense. One of them was a Fortune 50 senior VP.
Yeah.
But described this tremendous sense of well-being.
I think it has a lot to do with happiness. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with goals. I think it has a lot to do with, look, like I think when you are younger, of course you are more stressed because you're thinking about a lot of things. I honestly think a well-regulated, it's two things now. A well-regulated human being when you're younger, I feel, is someone who knows their emotions and knows what their emotions can do to them. right?
All for them.
All for them, yeah. So they control these emotions when they have to. They take a deep breath whenever they have to. And then they always check themselves before they react. I think that's a well-regulated human being, right? So, I mean, a lot of people react too quickly and then regret the next day.
Yeah.
When all they could have do just take 1 minute to breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe, right? And then you're like, why am I angry? Why do I feel this way? Blah, 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 blah.
Think about Elon Musk tweeting that Trump was in the Epstein files. Oops.
Yeah.
Like, if he'd just taken a breath, that would have been a different
he'll
thing.
be like, what can I cause? You know?
$152 billion went down the drain in one night.
Exactly. And I think when you are older is when you can finally find peace, right? You finish the cycle of life. If that's important to you, you get a wife, get children, and your children you get grandchildren. Complete cycle of life. Yeah. You buy the house that you want, you buy the car that you want, and then you can go to sleep thinking, I don't have to do anything tomorrow. Everything is completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's
Yeah. I think though, if you haven't worked on that leaky bucket, on that that fundamental toxic belief that most of us carry, be it whatever it is, maybe I don't have enough paper qualifications or something, then even when you've achieved all of that, you will feel the lack.
100%, because everything that you just said, his clients already achieved and are still paying him. So
because they went to find another wife. Then they're like, oh my God, I have to repeat the cycle one more time. No, but thank you so much, Marshall, for coming. I really enjoyed this conversation. I've always been very interested about like human psychology and everything. It's just
is
that I'm too
depression
dumb.
real now?
No, it's just that I'm too dumb.
Still not real.
No. Okay, no, depression is real, but not to me.
Okay.
Maybe again, if I do get it, you know who the first person I'm gonna call? It will be you, and I'll be like, prove me wrong, because now I'm paying you money.
Better be real.
Yeah. No, but yes, again, thank you so much for coming.
A real pleasure.
Yes, to the people watching, and I'll leave his contact details in the description box below. Please go look for him. I'll even leave his website. Look at how legit this guy is. Maybe I'm underselling you, through this episode. I don't know. But I'll leave all the information below for you guys to see. But yes, if you guys have anyone you'd like us to invite, let me know in the comment section below. If not, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.